last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, look at Creamus sleeping. Ew! Oh, he looks... Never mind what he looks like. You know what he looks like.
And now, the conclusion.
Like, there's so much to it, so much depth, and you hatch eggs, and you can create, like, a camp or town or whatever that automates production, so you can make more things, and you can breed, and you can love and raise and hold and fight your pals and humans. You pretty much do all those things with humans, too. It's great. But yeah, like, the whole purpose of the game, well, I don't know about the entire purpose. At the very least, it's a thinly veiled disguise, but done well enough. The game's a parody. Like, it's meant to be a joke. You get to the island, and people are like, this is fucking terrible. The pals eat you. No one is surviving. All my friends are dead. And I think it can be assumed that anything you find dropped isn't some random thing. It was somebody's that got devoured, and they dropped it as their bones crunched. I'm going to grind their bones to dust! And, like, it kind of asks the question of, like, what if the humans were more exploitative, and the bad guys were more violent, and, like, straight up just shot the Pokemon? And, like, what if the Pokemon were more violent? So it kind of takes, like, the concept that Arceus had, where the world with Pokemon and humans coming together was just beginning. It takes that to, like, an extreme, where a lot of pals are nice and will leave you alone, but, like, the story would have you believe that you gotta watch your ass around them, and the humans all just immediately start shooting you and throwing grenades at you, or the pals. And, like, some of the sects are supposed to be like PETA, where they have names. There's a faction that I can't remember the name of. It's like Devout Pal something. You're supposed to believe they protect the pals or whatever, and they kill them. Then they kill you, and they're just so aggressive and violent, just like PETA. And you can, like, give guns and shit to the pals to make them even more violent, and use them as, like, servants and whatnot. And when you, there's a condenser I built that lets you condense multiples of a pal. But really what you're doing, and it tells you you're doing this, is you turn them into an extract that you feed to the main pal. Like, it just takes the whole Pokemon Go setup and just straight up says, like, yeah, you're processing them into meat paste for the original or whatever to eat and making them stronger. Sorry. And, like, the pals get all kinds of statuses when they're working on your farm. Like, they can get, like, ulcers, so they stop working from stress. And there was a really good one I had last night. I can't remember. It was, like, stressed out by work and just shut down. And they'll just become incapacitated randomly. One of my pals was carrying another as he was passed the fuck out. Then they'll just happen, like, suddenly. You'll think everything's fine, but, like, the work makes them basically die. And they don't always immediately jump to work. They don't want to. I try not to think about it, but you're basically enslaving them. And, like, there's one called Depresso. Come on now. Like, I see him as, like, the focal point that it's a parody, because he has a design that looks like a lot of Pokemon, but he's really sad and down, and his name is Depresso. I mean, they didn't even try. And, like, you can also, like I've been saying, you can catch people, and I'm pretty sure anything you can do with a pal, you can do with a person. I think you can breed them. I haven't been able to confirm that. But I've caught 3. I've also put them to work on my farm. They eat out of the feed bag, just like pals, and they, sleep on pal beds. And I'm wondering if I can condense a couple down as meat paste into one. But yeah, they follow you around. They don't try to run for freedom or anything. They're there with you. Like, they're stuck. They're enslaved just like the pals. But I mean, yeah, it's all pretty. I mean, maybe, like I said, at least parody can be used as, like, a thin veil. There's a lot there to suggest it's all a big dumb joke. It's supposed to be a terrifying world where exploitation and violence have just run rampant. It's really a dark mirror of Pokemon. Arceus taken to extreme levels, and the world isn't getting better like it does in Pokemon. It's going the other way. And it's not like Pokemon is original itself. I mean, there's that image going around of all, like, the designs from Dragon Quest, which were clear influences. I will say PAL designs are meant to look like Pokemon. There's a lot of them where they're literally a starter that had his, like, type changed. Or some that just straight up lift designs from one of the Pokemon. Like, there's a Meowth whose face got slapped onto another cat. There's also cool stuff like Arceus, like Palkia, except if he looked more like Anubis. And yeah, they also, like, got the whole capturing thing from Ultra 7. I mean, my friend told me all that, and I didn't know it myself, but I'm going to plagiarize that point, and you can't do anything about it, because I know where you live. But they capture people, the monsters at Ultra 7, and, like, throw them out as if, you know, very similar to Pokemon, and... Yep, so Pokemon didn't even invent capturing things and using them in fights. Imagine that. And yeah, them Dragon Quest designs are, some of them are just straight up the same thing. But this is like a whole weird fucking phenomenon where a clone shows up and is just doing so much better in terms of, like, quality and engaging content. And, like, it is a jank game on its own, but it's, like, a small team developing it, just slapping it into Unreal Engine 5 and trying to make, like, a fun parody. And they've done a really good job of it, and it's just exploded. It's probably gotten the best reaction out of any clone I've seen, and it's done the most to rip off the designs directly, which is so weird, because some of the designs in there are some of my favorite Pokemon designs. Like, there's a bird in there that is, I think I like more than any of the actual Pokemon birds. It's insane. And I love clones, so the fact that this happened already made me want to investigate. And then just the world, it's a fun game. Like I said, there's so much to do. You can get like a whole production thing going in your village. Hatching eggs in incubators, condensing motherfuckers. You get like resource farming and whatnot. You can automate that, or you can go out and do it yourself. There's all kinds of caves and things to investigate, and bosses. There's, like, boss monsters around, and then towers that have, like, jerks riding pals trying to beat you up in a boss fight. That's pretty fun, too, because it's happening in real time, and you're having to just switch things out and run for your life. It's amazing. There's just so much to do. It's so dense. The world is huge, and, like, the architecture and geography and stuff are pretty cool. Like, it shames Halo Infinite, because that game fucking looks so... samey, which Palworld kind of does too, but they do a lot to change things. It's a different style game, but still, they could totally have phoned it in and just copy-pasted the terrain over like 5 miles. But even on my low settings, it looks really good, and it's just fun to fly around and explore new islands and get burnt by lava and things. And also, I spent a lot of time shitting on Pokemon, so I'm trying to praise straight game. I almost just read words on my outline. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's fun. It's not even like a direct Pokemon clone in terms of gameplay. It's really just designs, because what it does to copy Arceus is kind of more just copying the overall style, I guess, but then changing so much of it. Like, you can't go after them for the gameplay. You throw balls at things and throw them back out to fight, but the battles are in real time, and you can do all kinds of things that you couldn't do in any Pokemon game in those fights. I mean, give them guns and shit. You can help fight yourself. You can run in and start smacking motherfuckers. There's no one-on-one or double battles or anything. Anybody can just run in and start fighting you, and vice versa or whatever. The farming and the resource mining is so much more dense than anything Pokemon will ever do. Crafting, too, it's pretty in-depth. Like, the whole system of having to learn how to make things and then doing it and getting the resources to make resources to make things that turn your pals into meat paste. Like, Pokemon ain't gonna do any shit like that anytime soon. The most Pokemon has on this is the designs. But even then, those are, like, done as parody and, like, sort of what-if things. Also, there's a Gyarados clone that actually has, like, Seadramon's head. And then I saw, like, somebody have a Waru Seadramon. So basically what I'm saying is, it's time to rally the Digimon troops and go fuck them up and get Bandai Namco to shut this shit the fuck down. They even use Yggdrasil. Digimon did it first. I don't want to fucking hear it. There's gonna be a Digimon mod, and I'm gonna play the shit out of that. I said I'd stream too. You gotta do something to make the world look like the digital world too. Change the sky to like a fucking grid or something, and have things flickering every now and then. I mean, kind of like it does when I play on my crusty setup. Such a good game. It's an amazing game. I'm as addicted to it as I've been to any game in a long time. It's got me streaming regularly. That's not something I've ever done when I wasn't unemployed. I want to play it like now, although I'm kind of burning out on it, but it's been like 20 hours of just running around, farming, fighting, fucking, making saddles to ride your pal. Did I mention that? I put a saddle on a bird and can go anywhere now. It's fucking amazing. Just play the game. Hopefully it keeps getting big and... yeah. Hopefully they make more and it becomes a thing. Okay, sure.